For anyone that needs, there are agendas as well as copies of the warrants that'll be discussed tonight and approved up there for everyone. I'd like to welcome everybody to the regular meeting of the Lafayette Township Board of Trustees and Fire District. Today is Tuesday, February 17th at 7 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Balaje.
Paroli here. If I could get everybody to stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So before we get into the normal course of order for tonight, I will assume, based on the attendance, that word has gotten out. We did receive a letter of resignation from trustee Stephen Demonsky, dated February 16th. I would like to read it for everybody. It says, "To the Lafayette Township Board of Trustees, Trustee Board Chairman Justin Paroli. I would like to address once again this issue of my absence in the months of January and February to the people of Lafayette Township. This absence was planned in the summer of 2025, long before the decision to run for Township Trustee. At that time, trustee meetings were held once a month on the first Monday of the month. Based on that schedule, I would have missed only one meeting, the February 2026 meeting. At the organizational meeting held on January 2nd, 2026, the meeting schedule was changed to every other week on Tuesdays, causing the schedule to be changed to 2 to 3 meetings per month. Since I was leaving on Tuesday, January 6th, I had no time to make changes to my schedule without forfeiting the large amount of money that I had already paid. Since the time I left, certain individuals have decided to state their displeasure at my decision on certain social media platforms. The fact that these individuals had no knowledge of the situation I was in, and that they were supporters of the former board members that were defeated in November, they have attacked my integrity and honesty with vile rhetoric. That is something that I will not tolerate, nor will I confront anyone who attempts to intimidate or bully me while hiding behind a keyboard in an act of cowardice. I am 66 years old and have only a few years left to live, and I will not waste the time that I have left arguing with ignorant people. My physical health is in decline, and I do not need this stress in my life. I took this position to try to help the community I live in, but apparently there are a certain group of people who would rather fight, argue, and tear each other down than try to work together to solve the problems of the township in a cordial way. That being said, I am hereby tendering my resignation as Lafayette Township Trustee effective immediately. Stephen Demonsky." And I will go ahead and submit these for the record. And with that, I have a resolution here, 2026-2022, a resolution accepting the resignation of trustee Stephen Demonsky and declaring a vacancy in the office of Lafayette Township Trustee. I would make the motion to adopt said resolution.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Balaje, yes.
Paroli, yes. With that done, I would like to turn the floor over to County Prosecutor Forrest Thompson, just to walk through the statutory process for replacing the vacant trustee.
Thank you, Mr. Crowley. I'll be brief. Excuse me. The guidelines for the replacement of a trustee are guided under Revised Code 503-24. In basically any purpose of or any basis for a vacancy, it requires that this is rare, but it does need to be looked at. The person designated, let's see, a vacancy, a majority of the persons designated by the committee of 5 on the last filed nominating petition of the township. There is a position where you can nominate this group of 5.
He did not have a committee.
I'm certain he didn't, because no one does, but I still have to make clear that that is a prerequisite to the rest of the statute. So if there is no group of 5 that was selected, then starting with the vacancy, I would say starting tomorrow, this township trustee board has 30 days to select a replacement. Now, that person, when selected within those 30 days, would serve until, because this is more than 40 days from the next election under the same statute, the vacancy occurred more than 40 days from the next election, that is general election for townships, which I believe would be November of '27. So the individual selected within those 30 days would serve until November of '27, and then they would have to run for the unexpired term. So, 30 days starting tomorrow for the townships, for the township trustees to select. They have a process, you can nominate, you can do any number of things, how you choose your process is up to you. But within those 30 days, there would have to be someone that would be appointed, selected and appointed. Other than that, in the absence of that, then the probate judge is required by statute to fill that position. Okay?
Yes.
That's pretty much the sum and substance of it, but it's under 503.24, if you need further guidance, you can always obviously call us.
Excellent.
All right?
Thank you.
Any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
If there's any questions from,
So the residents have no input on who can be nominated to the board? It
No,
comes-
not under the statute, and that's, again, that's the decision of the board as to what protocol they choose to use in the selection process. But the statute is silent as to the constituency, if you will, the citizens. Yes, sir.
Did I also understand you to say if the board does not make a decision, it falls back to the probate judge to make the decision?
That's correct.
Okay.
I've seen that happen once, but I think it was more because the township lost track of their days. They didn't realize they were out of their 30 days, so, but I have seen it happen one time. I mean, there was another issue.
I would like to know if they get to pick who they want, why we don't have the opportunity to vote for that.
You would have an opportunity to vote in November of '27. That would be the next time, under the statute. This is the vacancy statute. This is how it's controlled. So that's why I said, that's why I brought the statute. And it would be November of '27 would be the next general election for township trustees. So that's where it is. Yes, ma'am?
So since the election was more recent, and there were 4 candidates that won, could the way the trustees decide to appoint somebody be to go back and get the next highest person that had been running?
There's no prohibition of that.
Okay,
But again, it would be the protocol
of the trustees,
of the trustees.
okay.
There's no guidance, there's no statutory guidance for how they select, just when.
Got it.
and just to confirm, it's 30 days. So
30 days, I would say, yes.
any process that we put in place, we have to be able to complete within the 30 days or we forfeit the right. It's not like,
Effectively, yes.
we can't just then race the probate court to get a decision. 30 days, time's up, we're done.
Yes. Yes, sir?
So is that like 30 business days excluding weekends, or 30 continuous days?
30 calendar days.
30 calendar days.
Yes, ma'am.
If the residents so choose after that, does that trustee, the third one, fall under the petition as well, if we decide we don't like that person?
That would be something that you would have to determine by
I
election process, by a voting process in November of '27.
Yeah, but you can also petition if you, like, if a sitting trustee has done something you don't like, you could petition to, have them removed.
Well, that's not really the question that I'm here to answer. Whether you choose to try to remove a trustee, that's a different
I'm
set of
just asking
statutory
if
guidelines.
that person they choose would fall under that same statute.
If they're a sitting trustee, then they're under the same subject of removal process as anyone else.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone who's sitting in that position.
Once appointed, they become a completely independent elected official, just like
Yes.
anybody else that would go through the normal
Yes.
process.
Yes. This is the process by which a vacancy is filled in a township trustee. It kind of overlaps with other electeds, but generally speaking, it focuses on the township trustees. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
If you don't need me for anything else,
I do not.
Nope,
okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so since that's obviously the question that's at the front of everybody's mind, it's been a kind of crazy 48 hours, but I would say personally, and trustee Bellari, you know, weigh in here, but I think the important thing is that we get a process together tonight, outline how we wanna fill this, vacancy, and then, move forward, you know, to seat this, you know, seat the person as quickly as we can while still having a solid process in place. So, my thought process would be that we open up for, starting with, right now, through, we're scheduled to meet again 2 weeks from tonight on March 3rd. So I'd say we take, any interested applicant from now until next Friday. At that point, then we can line up, or at least organize some sense of a process for having everybody come into the meeting, everybody that expresses interest, come to the meeting next Tuesday, or 2 Tuesdays from now, sorry, 2 weeks from now. And we can actually have an open interview process in open floor, so that, you know, the residents have a chance to hear the entire process. You know, we can figure out the exact mechanics of how that would work, but that would allow us to give ample time for the community to have an opportunity to express interest, anybody that wants to. And then we can set up a process for next Tuesday to be able to have the candidates come up, kinda introduce themselves, why they wanna, you know, kinda do a open mic night, for kinda like, a lack of a better term, but, you know, they can present their case in open meeting, and then we can make a decision from there.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's what we'll do, we'll get a posting up online to let everybody know, but I would imagine it'll simply be just a letter of interest, a resume would be helpful. You know, but a letter of interest is fine. Get that submitted to Kristen, admin at LafayetteTownship.com, works for you?
Yep.
So, we'll have that, we'll keep that open until, let's see, what is next Friday? Let's do, midnight on February 27th. Then we can organize all of the interested, individuals on the 28th, and everybody that's interested should plan on being at the meeting on March 3rd. And like I said, we'll conduct a open interview process in open meeting. You know, I would welcome, any input that any of the residents have as far as, you know, potential questions or things that you would like asked of the, incoming trustees or any of the candidates that we interview. Please feel free to submit those, either, you know, to admin or to one of the trustees individually. We'll obviously have to streamline the process a little bit depending on how many people, express an interest, but we'd like, you know, to at least make it as open a process as possible, as we go through this. Good?
Yeah.
So then the next item on the list
I
is the
got,
consent.
I got a question. So when Stephen resigned, did he have any recommendation? I heard the letter, but did he have any recommendations for somebody, for his point of view?
He did not,
Thank you.
and he will be back in town, so I mean, he will be welcome to be here. I can't speak for him whether he'll attend or anything along those lines, but, he did not say anything other than
Thank you.
what was written, sorry. So the next item on the list is the consent agenda. We have 2 items on there, the meeting minutes from February 3rd. I just had a couple of, spelling edits that need to be picked up from Claude, but everything else looked good. And then we have, resolution 2026-23, which is the resolution rescinding resolution 17-2024 that we discussed at the last meeting, but did not actually adopt. So I would make a move to approve the consent agenda.
I haven't finished with the meeting minutes. Can we put that off till next week, please? But I second the
So
rescinding of
just-
the resolution, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright, so next up we have, department reports, zoning. Mr. Wilson, would you like to join us up front for your zoning report?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's a very short zoning report. Winter months, we don't get too many permits. We've had, I've only been on the job 2 weeks, and we've had a total of 5 permits in January and 3 in January and 2 in February, so it's been a slow time for me to get acclimated. At this point, I think that's all I have, trustee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The other items that we have for zoning, I do have resolution 2023, just to go in line with what we've been trying to do in more formally memorializing what we've done is, just a resolution, resolution of appointment of Thomas Wilson as Lafayette Township Zoning Inspector. I would make the motion to approve resolution 2026-2024.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Belar, yes.
Rolly, yes. The next item up is we did receive a letter of resignation from the Board of Zoning Appeals from Simon Bartos. I'll just read the letter to make it easier, but Dear Lafayette Township trustees and fellow township employees and BZA members, I wanted to let you know that with my schedule becoming increasingly full due to evening classes and other commitments, I've made the difficult decision to step down from the BZA. This is entirely due to my schedule and has nothing to do with any recent changes in leadership or employees. I'm not involved in township politics in any partisan way. I truly wish I could continue serving, as I've greatly appreciated the work we do and the chance to work alongside all of you. I will miss seeing everyone at meetings, and I hope that in the future, when my schedule allows, I might have the opportunity to serve again in various capacities. Thank you for all your dedication and for making this such a meaningful experience. Please continue working hard to keep our township great. I love living here and know that you all care and are working to keep it that way. So I would make the motion to approve the resignation of Simon Bartos from the Board of Zoning Appeals effective immediately.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then the next resolution that I have for consideration is resolution 2026-2025, is to appoint alternate members to the Lafayette Township Board of Zoning Appeals. As of right now, we have one alternate that is serving on the board. We obviously have a vacancy that we'll need to consider. We also recently had a member of our zoning commission, Joseph Praisler, who has worked with the township for quite some time and due to some health concerns, did not want to commit to another full 5-year term with the zoning commission. But in discussions with him, I feel that he expressed an interest in serving on the Board of Zoning Appeals, and I think he would be a great asset to this. I know he spoke with Curtis Perkins at length as well, who is a tenured member of our Board of Zoning Appeals. So the resolution would be to appoint both Kevin Pyatt and Joseph Praisler, or confirm Kevin Pyatt and appoint Joseph Praisler as the two alternate members of the Board of Zoning Appeals, serving through December 31st of 2026. And with that, I would make the motion to approve resolution 2026-25.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Belar, yes.
Paroli, yes. Fiscal.
Please.
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry. Lieutenant Markham.
I'm gonna be long, I have a full agenda here. So in the month of January, we had 329 total incidents. Some of the highlights, 136 vacation watches, 24 fire department assists, 16 traffic stops, 6 car crashes, 5 welfare checks, 1 suicide or suicide threat, 1 sex offense/rape, and 1 mental health issue. All of you should have received, or the 2 trustees should have received our annual report that Chief Kinney sent out. A couple of highlights with that. In 2024, we had a little over 3,700 calls for service, and in 2025, that was up to a little over 5,300. So on the average, about 446 per month. And for everyone else, the entire Medina Police Department annual report can be found on our website, and you can download it or take a look at it. If you have any questions regarding that.
And we actually did get a copy posted on the township website as well, so
Okay.
it's on there also.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next up, we've got fiscal office. First order of business is payroll for February 1st through February 14th of 2026. Township payroll totaling $7,869.01 as outlined in the attached document. Any questions on that?
No.
I'd make the motion to approve township payroll for the pay period of February 1st, 2026 through February 14th, 2026 in the amount of $7,869.01.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sherry, can you print these smaller next time?
Trying to save paper.
No, thank you.
I killed a lot
I'm
of
just
trees
gonna-
today.
No, I appreciate it. Then on the fire district side, same pay period, February 1st, 2026 through February 14th, 2026. Payroll totaling $29,108.15. I'd make the motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
There were some questions after the last meeting, so we did, and we will continue moving forward, to print a copy of the warrant lists for circulation with the meeting minutes, or with the meeting agenda, if anybody has any questions. You know, it's obviously, you know, a practice that, we've tried to adopt, processes and procedures that will make things more transparent. So it's certainly not the intention. That's the whole reason why we're meeting every other Tuesday, is to be able to go through these things in a more detailed fashion than we've done previously. So again, I do appreciate it's an opportunity to get feedback from the community. So again, we will make this a common practice for the warrant, the payment listings that get approved in total to be available at each meeting. With that, we do have township warrants totaling $127,138.10. The bulk of that is a $109,937 payment to Judco for the new truck for the service department that was ordered 23. I wanna say it was the fall of 23, so we're finally getting close to having that in our possession. So I'd make the motion to approve warrants for the township totaling $127,138.10.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And on the fire district side, we have warrants totaling $23,810.84, as indicated on the payment listing. I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sherry, did you have anything else that you wanted to add under fiscal?
No, I just wanted to set a date for, a work session with, well, I could wait for you to appoint the trustee in March. You're gonna do it the first meeting in March?
Well, hopefully we'll be able to, you know, finalize the process. I know you were working on getting some of the year-end stuff done, and you've got a fairly busy schedule. What works for you as far as, you know, a date for the work session?
Saturday mornings.
Saturday mornings? Okay. Well,
But if you're gonna, I mean, I was thinking the 28th, but if you're not gonna appoint anybody until the 1st of February, then maybe the.
oh, you were talking about for February 28th?
Yeah.
Well, we have to have it in by April 1st.
Correct.
Or April 1st, right?
Yeah.
March
I just
31st. Alright.
Well, April 1st, but I really wanted to get it done sooner than that, that's right.
Well, I mean, we can start, do you think it's,
Yeah, I
how much
can-
time do you think we need comfortably to be able to get that done? One session?
Oh, yeah, we can wrap it up in an hour. It's already done, I just gotta tweak it a little bit. I'm waiting I don't have the, original certificate back yet,
Okay.
so I have to wait till I get a firm number from that, and they have their meeting this Thursday. So I'm assuming on the Friday, Tristan will send me the amended certificate, and then at least I can make sure I have the right amount.
Okay. Well, I mean.
So I need Saturdays, even March, I mean, I would prefer to do it like the 7th or the 4th.
Seventh. Well, I'm fine with the 7th.
Throw the first person right into the fire, but they have to learn it through the later.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know,
The
Oh,
sooner,
makes
we've
sense.
also gotta do the road bids, get them in, so the sooner we have this, to get them in
We can
in
do
time.
that.
Yeah. So the 7th, you good with the 7th?
I'm good with the 7th, yeah,
Is
that's
that
fine.
what you, Sherry?
What time do we wanna?
I'm up at 3:30, so whenever you.
No,
We're not coming
doing
at
it
3:30.
I mean, I guess I could stay up, that'd be fun.
9?
Yeah, I'm good with 8 or 9, I mean,
Do 9?
Nine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
9.
we'll have a budget workshop, it'll be a public meeting, it'll be open, but it will be for board discussion, there won't be, the public's welcome to be here for it 100%, but, there won't be a back and forth like there typically is during a regular meeting. So we'll get that scheduled. Correspondence, did you have anything you wanted to cover under correspondence?
Oh, just one.
Okay.
We had that phone call from the resident who was asking about the Frontier digging in, and I had a conversation with the Medina Engineers Office, and they have just given me something to put out here. They said, following up on last week's meeting, this evening, please be advised that Frontier will soon be moving through the township to install new fibre optic lines. To ensure this process goes as smoothly as possible for everyone, please keep the following contact information handy. For general inquiries and issues, your first point of contact should be the Frontier directly at 855-266-5649. For escalations, if Frontier is no longer able to resolve your concerns, you may contact the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio at 800-686-6826. If your installation results in a specific damage to your property, such as a broken sprinkler line, please reach out to myself or our service department, and we will be able to connect you directly with the appropriate representative to handle these. I'll give this to Kristen to put on the website, because obviously there's two numbers to try and keep track of.
Okay. The only two that I had, we had a resident reach out to us about potentially using the administration building parking lot on March 6th through 8th for performance that they're organizing at the Lafayette United Methodist Church. They expect 30 to 50 cars, so I think that's we don't have anything else currently planned at the facility, so I don't think there'll be anything that gets in the way. I guess the only question would be, do we want to ask them to fill out the facilities use?
I think because it
request
helps us keep
form?
track of who's
Agreed.
using it. I think
But
it's a good
outside of
idea.
that, any reason, any issue?
No, got no reason.
Okay. So I would make a motion to approve the use of the Lafayette admin building and town hall complex parking lot for the Lafayette United Methodist Church for March 6th through 8th for overflow parking, pending an acceptable application on the facilities use policy.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then I did have former trustee Marty Warcola did reach out to me yesterday and wanted to request that I, state that he's interested in the opening. So just putting that out there. Unresolved business.
Oh, we did
Yeah.
have the blood drive one.
Well, it's on.
Oh, it's on the
business.
7th, okay. Oh, yeah.
So unresolved business, trustee Ballard, the first two items of yours, I think we're still probably in a holding pattern on
Yeah,
both of those.
the prosecution did reach out to me today to say that she was waiting until the other comes back into the office.
So my clients get back.
Yeah.
Okay. And then obviously we talked about the employee handbook, but I think that's,
Wait till we got a
Yeah,
new
yeah.
trustee, yeah.
and then on the township newsletter, I know Kristen, you had sent out, kind of some preliminary stuff. Are we close to being, have you been
I
getting?
haven't heard back from anyone.
All right, we'll start. Okay.
I sent you mine.
Oh, yeah, Carrie sent yesterday.
Okay. Well,
I got it
hopefully,
before the meeting, did you
Yes,
notice?
yes.
what was the deadline we're working with again to be able to get that to print on the schedule that we're hoping for?
I would like to have it to them by mid-March so that it can hit mailboxes April 1st.
Okay. So try to have most of the bulk of it.
Yeah, do you need new stories? Because I know we've got some older ones.
You know what I was thinking too, is we need to look back into, the America 250 thing.
Mhm.
I'd like to put something in there about that.
Okay.
'Cause we can,
I've got their emails, because I'm on their.
whatever
their
you guys
list.
wanna do for
I
that.
can forward it on to you, because they've got a really good sort of information thing to send out.
Okay, yeah, I picked up something that from Medina, that they have a ton of like different events listed in a little brochure thing I was gonna
I'll
look
send
at.
you my login, you can see it.
Okay.
Alright, I think it's everything for unresolved business. Under new business, first item under new business, trustee Ballard, if you wanna maybe give some background on it, but this is the,
Oh,
sign grant.
Yeah. Print it.
No.
I've forgotten the amount.
It's all right.
So, our service department, completed, they had some modules to complete, and we have been given a grant for $55,626.47. This allows the department then to, upgrade some of our signs that we have around the township. I did reach out to Matt to see what projects they definitely have, and I haven't got back from Matt though, but, this grant is an excellent way for us to save township monies, so we would, Justin would do the
Yeah, no, so it's
Resolution.
resolution 2026-26, a resolution accepting the Ohio Department of Transportation subaward grant agreement for the Lafayette Township signage upgrade project. As trustee Goulart noted, the total cost of the project is $55,626.47, and the ODOT award is for $50,000. So $5,626.47 is township funds, but it is a substantial savings to the township. I would make the motion to approve resolution 2026-26 and sign the grant agreement.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Belar, yes.
Parola, yes.
I'll sign that when I get back, and then I'll forward on to you once it's all complete.
The next item up is we did receive a request for use of the building here for a blood drive. It did come in from Mr. Engel. I guess the only question that I would have on this is for March 28th, so that if there are any need of, people that are donating, they bring the bus in to do the.
They come into the
Yeah,
parking lot,
but he likes to be able to open it up to use the restroom
Yeah.
if anybody needs to. The only question I have on it, and I guess not to put him on the spot, but Mr. Kyle, the request has Lafayette Township Firefighters Association listed on here. Are you okay with Mr. Engel making the request under the association's name?
He's an active member, that's his project.
Just wanted to verify, so I would make the motion that we approve the request for use of the safety service building for restroom use for the blood drive on March 28th, as outlined in the agreement.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item is inside millage, police collection rate, levy collection rate. If you guys remember, towards the end of last year, we discussed reallocating inside millage and also rolling back the collection rate on the police levy for this year. Unfortunately, with the timing of everything getting processed and by the time the board took action at the end of last year, neither of those made it to the county auditor in time for those to take effect for this year. So the police levy will collect at its full rate this year. Inside millage, the reallocation that we've talked about, it doesn't change the amount of money that's coming to the township, but it'll still be on the old 1.0 inside mill
Yeah.
to the general and to the road and bridge. If we wanna revisit that, we will need to pass a new resolution, for next year to reallocate. And then the only other item that I had is, after the OTA, last 2 weeks ago, one of the presentations that was down there that they were talking about was the need for long-term financial planning for asset purchases. We've obviously just recently purchased a new ambulance for the fire department. We had previously talked about setting that money aside, so that it's always on reserve, but we kinda had some different opinions on how to put that money aside. Well, reserve funding accounts are probably the best mechanism for doing that. Additionally, I know the chief has presented an opportunity, or a plan for replacing some of the equipment that we have here. So one of the things that I would like to pursue, if there's interest, is there are agencies that can come in and assist us with doing basically a reserve funding study, where they'll look at all of the assets of the township, or whatever we want them to look at, whether it's buildings, equipment, whatnot, and they can give us a plan for, here's basically what the remaining useful life of the equipment is. They can help us kind of ballpark what it will potentially cost us to replace those pieces of equipment in the future, and then give us a roadmap for what we need to be setting aside. The other big piece of it is with some of the legislation that's being discussed, obviously, everybody's aware of the property tax reform bills and the things that are in front of the state legislature, and then also petitions that are being circulated to eliminate property taxes. There's one of the measures that's been taken at the state, and I'm not gonna try to quote which House bill it is, but they're really focusing on the way that the county auditors and the county budget commissions kind of scrutinize what the local entities are doing, whether it's townships, school districts, villages. Every year, you know, part of the budget process, we tell them how much money we're gonna start the next year with. And one of the big things that they're gonna start doing is scrutinizing. You say you're carrying over $1 million. Why are you carrying over $1 million and not returning that money to the taxpayers? Do you need it? These reserve funding studies and then also using reserve accounts are is going to be the best practice going forward on how you allocate those set-asides. For example, you know, we took $385,000 for the ambulance that was purchased with the passage of the last levy, and that money was set aside. This would be a mechanism for us to identify to the county commissioner or to the county budget commission that we're not just ratting that money away for whatever might happen in the future. It's for this long-term purchase, or whether it winds up being we need to replace a fire truck, so we're gonna start saving each year. So I would like to maybe reach out to a couple of the companies that do the reserve funding studies. Typically can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000 for them to come in and do one of these. But with a annual budget of around $6 million, I think, you know, it would be wise for us to potentially get some outside guidance on that.
Yeah, no, I've got that.
So that's all I have for new business. Did you have anything else
No,
that you want to bring up?
no.
Okay. And I think you had asked for potentially an executive session?
Yes.
Short one? Okay. Would you like to make a motion
Sorry, yeah, I make a motion to go into executive session.
for,
I forgot the piece of paper with it on, just in time.
it's okay, hold on. So I imagine it's gonna be one,
Yeah.
and then just state which one. It's all right. G1.
Yeah, under G1, for considering of appointment, of dismissal, discipline, promotion, or compensation of a public employee.
I'll second. Well, actually, roll call vote on it, so.
Yeah, roll call.
Corolla, yes.
Yes.
It is 7:38. We will be going into executive session.
Do we want?
Yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
the two trustees and fiscal officer Ward, and we will try to make it
Chief is
short.
joining us.
Is he coming down?
Yes.
All right, so Fire Chief Kavanaugh will be joining us.
So I got on his bench I had, and just staring at it, and that was a good. Watch you staring. Me too. I said, 'cause you're sitting in this.
All right, it is 7:49. We are out of executive session. No decisions were made. Trustee Ballard, do you have anything?
Nope.
Nope, all right. Then I will go ahead and open the floor for public comment.
Good evening, my name is Wayne Harris, 309 Columbia Road. I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room here. Steve Demonsky. I'm going to preface my comments by saying that defining the absence in terms of mere missed meetings misses the point. You do more than just sit in a meeting. I have a letter I'm submitting to the Board of Trustees. I will read it to you. This is from myself and from my wife. Board of Trustees, on November 4th, the citizens of Lafayette Township elected Stephen Domanski to serve as Township Trustee. After weeks of campaigning, he garnered the support of 769 voters. That's enough to prevail over Ty Fullerton and Chris O'Neill to secure a 4-year public trust. Frankly, my wife and I were 2 of those votes. When a candidate seeks office, campaigns for that office, and is chosen by the people, it's reasonable, indeed it's expected, that he'll be available and prepared to fulfill the duties of the office once his term begins. What no reasonable voter could have anticipated is that Mr. Domanski would be intentionally absent for approximately 1/6 of his first year in office. Potentially repeating that absence year after year, we don't know. That information was not disclosed to the public during the campaign, it was not part of the conversation, and it was not presented to the voters to consider as they made their decision. I didn't know about it. That omission matters. Full transparency is the foundation to public trust. Voters deserve to have the information needed to make informed decisions. When critical information that could materially affect an election is withheld, it undermines confidence. Not in just that one individual, but in the integrity of our local office, our local government as a whole. Let me be clear. Serving in the public office is a commitment. It's a promise to the people that you will show up, you'll participate, and you will fulfill the responsibilities that have been entrusted to you. And when the commitment is knowingly compromised from the onset, it damages the relationship between the elected officials and the community that they serve. Now that Mr. Domanski has resigned, having not meaningfully served in the capacity for which he was elected, I respectfully request that this board consider drafting a resolution asking him to return any compensation he has received during his brief tenure as Lafayette Township trustee. While repayment may not be legally required, it will be a meaningful gesture of accountability and goodwill. Sometimes what is right transcends what is merely required. Lafayette Township deserves transparency, it deserves commitment, and above all, it deserves to trust in those who seek to lead it. This is a letter signed by myself and my wife, Carrie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Chase Burmeister, Lafayette Road. I think it's been a long time since I've been up here. Justin, how you doing, buddy? How you doing?
Good.
Doing good? Yeah, so I just want to make a comment on procedure. So I just think that your guys' idea is a pretty terrible idea. I think it's a giant waste of time. I think that if you have 20 candidates, you're gonna spend 15 minutes deciding who gets to help run the township, for the next year and a half or longer, year and 3/4 or whatever. So I just wanna stand up and say I like Karen's idea. I think that you guys should put some consideration into, maybe appointing, Ty or Chris. And I know Chris is here, I don't know if he's even interested in the job, I don't know if Ty's interested in the job, but I think that that's probably the right decision to make at this point, I really do. So I just wanna mention that, and, it's a time constraint or whatever, but, and I say this not joking, even though I feel like it's a joking thing to say, but that's where we're at in society is, everybody's on Facebook, and in fact, Facebook dictated these results of this previous election pretty well, I think, in my overview, in my opinion, and it's a lot of negativity, you know what I mean? So, just get it out there, get a Facebook poll out there and get that going, that would take about a week and you get a good idea what the township wants. But I think we all kind of know what the township wants. And I think that bringing in Chris or Ty, will fulfill that, basically what the township wants. Carrie, where was that, ODOT grant, how was that obtained?
Sorry, say that again?
The ODOT grant that you talked about?
Yes.
How was that obtained?
How
by the
that's
township?
obtained. So, it was attained, I think the previous board, I think Rick had started it, in the process of it, didn't complete it, because obviously he left.
Right.
So our new service department guys had to complete the modules to get the grant. We can't get the grant without the board, without the township employees completing these modules. So Matt and Ben completed it in order to get the grant.
Okay, awesome, yeah. All right, that's all I have, thanks.
Real quick, I do want to address one thing since it was brought up. Here's an email from ODOT to Rick. Seventh request. Congratulations on receiving a state fiscal year 2026 Township Safety Sign grant. Please send this information as soon as possible. We will process the agreements out to townships based on the order in which we received the information above. So we did receive the grant based on an application that was made by our former service director, who then, after the election and knew he was quitting, ignored completing the process, did not pass the information on to the new board, and jeopardized a $50,000 grant to the township. For whatever reason.
Seems like it worked
He may
out pretty
have.
good though, worked out, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, trustee Ballard
Keep flinging
and,
mud, Jonathan, cause that's
It's-
what the township wants. For just every time something good happens, you tell them how that
you,
somebody else almost
you
bought
had,
it.
you had your time,
I'm just letting you know.
you had your time.
Thank you for that too. Appreciate it.
But I do think that it's very important that the people know exactly what happens in this township, so that they can make informed and educated decisions on what they want going forward.
Sure didn't inform me.
Misinformation is just.
No, no.
Resolution.
Again, anybody that would like a copy, we can pull all of the requests for confirmation and make them available to anybody. It's right here if you'd like a copy of it. Who's next?
Well, I don't know what to believe on Facebook.
Please state your name, just if you wouldn't mind, Jeff.
I don't know what to believe on Facebook. I'm Jeff Stanek, Meadow Haven Drive, Chipotle. And I seen on there was 2 reimbursement checks, one to you, and I can't think of your name, one to you also. Carrie. And I don't know what to believe anymore with AI. So are those factual?
Yes.
And how are they reimbursements? Because they were listed as reimbursements. Do you have receipts?
Yes.
And they're listed?
They were supplied with both the submission to the township and to the person that requested the public record that then put them online. They had all the
As long as they
receipts
were-
and documentation.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Karen Skinner, 7780 Coon Club Road. And I wasn't here at the last meeting, and so I don't know whether you can address this, but I was wondering what that rescinded resolution of 17/20/24 was or is?
Resolution 17/2024 was the resolution that was passed in, I believe, September or October of 2024, that granted the Firefighters Association use of any and all property, township property, whenever they wanted,
Okay.
without any restrictions at all.
So, I guess the bottom line is they'll have to fill out like a form now for something, is that correct?
Just like any other organization that would want to use it, just like Mr. Engel did for the blood drive.
Okay. And is our pancake breakfast that we have in jeopardy then?
If no application is submitted, I would say yes. If an application is submitted, I don't know why, I have no intentions of not approving the use for it.
Okay, okay. But is there concern that it could be rescinded at any time, or, you know, if you approve it, you wouldn't rescind it?
Well, they're on a individual
Basis.
basis, so
Right,
you
I
approve
know.
it for an event.
Okay,
So if you approve it, you most likely would not rescind that same event. I
Yeah,
just,
I mean, I hate to speak in hypotheticals, because
Right, I
I mean,
know.
could that situation ever occur? I guess it could in theory, but I fail to see why,
what would precipitate
why the
something.
board would do that, sure,
Okay.
unless there was some sort of
I
extenuating
just
circumstance.
know it's a very great community event, and I
Yeah.
would really hate to see that not happen. Thank you.
I would agree. Anyone else?
Angela Vetro, Worcester Lane, I'm in Medina Township. So I know I don't live here, but, you know, the letter that you wrote read from Mr. Demonsky earlier, I just wanted to comment that everybody obviously has a different opinion of what happened, but it's just, I think, important to note that public service takes a lot of courage, and whether anyone thinks things were handled properly or not, or whether he did things perfectly or not, he was a brand new trustee, and so, and people obviously wanted change, as noted in the letter, that was read aloud here. So, I just think thanking him for what he tried to do is important also, so, that's all, thank you.
Thank you.
Someone else?
Yeah.
What else do you want?
Well, rock, paper, scissors?
You can ask.
Okay, I'm slower though. Hi, my name is Linda Collins of 129 Shady Slope, and I appreciate the opportunity to address the board and the residents of Lafayette Township. I would like to begin my sharing by saying a saying from my mother. She used to tell me, men fight with their fists, women fight with their words. Tonight, I'm here to use my words to ask reasonable questions on behalf of the taxpayers of this township. At our last meeting, I raised concerns regarding the Lafayette Firefighters Association. The fire chief was kind enough to provide a list of donations made by the associations to the fire department, and I appreciate that effort. I have brought copies of this list for any resident who would care to review it. However, it is important to clarify that the Firefighters Association is a separate legal entity. And as such, there is no public transparency regarding how funds are collected, how decisions are made, or how donations are distributed when money is raised, especially under the name of the Lafayette Fire Department. For example, I have been told that the association contributed $2,000 to the Village Inn following storm damage several years ago. I also heard claims, though unverified, of a $5,000 donation to assist with a private business startup. Whether these statements are true or not is beside the point. The issue is that taxpayers have no way of knowing because there is no transparency. My first observation about the donation list is that it combines 3 years, 2023, 2024, and 2025, totaling $73,857, or an average of approximately $24,600 per year. It was also stated that this list was an attempt to be shared with me last year. That raises questions, as it includes figures for 2025 that would not have been available at that time. Accuracy matters. As Judge Judy often says, if If you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. Second, the list does not include dates for when the contributions were made, nor does it clearly identify what was purchased or from whom. The lack of details make meaningful oversight impossible. Transparency is not an unreasonable expectation when public trust is involved. I also noted conflicts that, while not accusations, deserve clarification. It is common knowledge that the Fullerton family operates GDS Safety Supply, that family members are part of the association, and that Chief indicated he is as well. Public records show GDS Safety Supply generates significant revenue. I looked them up on the internet, and it says that their revenue is between $500,000 and $999,000 a year. Again, I am not alleging wrongdoing, but the documentation provided does not eliminate reasonable concerns. Additionally, several listed contributions, and I'm reading from his list, for $870 for fishnet, I don't know what that is, $1,700 for 2024 awards banquet, $1,000 for Shop with the Cop, $400 for Halloween candy for the community, $150 MCFA dues, and $100 for FFA. I fail to see how these expenses benefit the fire department. Most concerning is a list of tables and chairs as a donation. They have listed $1,400 for chairs, 104 chairs, and $2,135 for 20 tables. At the previous meeting, Steve Kyle stated that these items could be removed from the firehouse. If they are donations, ownership should be clear. If they are not, then they should not be represented as such. Lafayette residents have shown strong and consistent support for the fire department. They have approved a permanent levy of $600,000, followed by, while being made aware of substantial increases in property taxes, an additional 2 mil levy costing taxpayers approximately $579 annually. This brings the fire department's total budget to roughly $1.18 million. For a community of our size, that is a substantial commitment. Despite this, as of mid-February, the fire department has not finalized a 2026 budget. In my opinion, operating without an approved budget undermines accountability and does not reflect responsible stewardship or respect for taxpayer funds. Finally, our firefighters and EMS personnel should not have to rely on fundraising activities to obtain basic comforts such as uniforms, equipment, furniture, or refreshments while on shift. These are reasonable expenses that should be included in a properly planned and approved budget. The residents of Lafayette Township have honored their commitment to support the fire department. In return, their money deserves transparency, accountability, and respect. So with this, I would like to finish with these words from my father. You lay with dogs, you're gonna get fleas. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And Chief,
diligence,
No, come on up, just give me 1 second. To your question, just real quick, because you brought it up, the $870 for FirstNet,
Yeah,
I've been through the list with Chief. That covered, 3 iPads that are used two in the, ambulances and 1 in in his vehicle, for their daily work. So that is mission critical equipment that was donated by the firefighters
I
association.
understand, but do
Why-
we not have a budget for it?
I'm just,
Yeah, I'm just saying,
you
yeah.
brought it up, so I wanted to let you know
well,
that.
just to clarify, we do have a budget, I'm not sure where you got those facts at either.
Oh, we
We
do?
just haven't finalized the permanent appropriations, which
Okay.
sets,
That was done in July of last
Right.
year.
Okay,
so.
when I
sorry.
talked about it, it hasn't been brought up.
Well, there's a difference between appropriations and a budget.
Melanie King, 6944 Lake Road. So, a couple things. And one, I think, is it still in the rules that, audience members are to address the board and the board only? When it comes to the public comment section?
I don't think we
We
did not
didn't-
change the
no, we didn't
rules.
change the
So, I mean,
So-
I think there's a
so-
difference between naming somebody and actually like addressing them for debate, but
Yeah, so.
point taken.
So, the last meeting, it's allowed to go on though, and it's not only like, it doesn't so much bother me that we have a back and forth, like a back and forth that's nice, but what I find really, unfair to the residents of this township, it doesn't really bother me, but when I see residents in the crowd addressing other people and getting into a back and forth with it, I don't think that's fair. I don't think anybody in this crowd should have to listen to somebody out there telling them to get out, to do anything. Like, if you don't like my opinion, I don't like yours, I'm expected to sit in the audience and behave.
When did that happen?
The last meeting, I mean, it was on the video. I do believe the fire association was told to get out by an audience member.
Okay.
I mean, it's on the video. But I'm just wondering if it's a rule anymore, or we're just allowed to go back and forth now. But my main point is, no resident or person or entity that's involved in this township should be afraid to walk in these doors because of what someone's gonna say to them. If it's in the rules
Agreed.
that's not what's supposed to happen.
Okay.
Second of all, we've had a lot of talks about insurance, and I find it, a little bit interesting that you've decided to now be compensated for it with all the other things that you've said.
Me too.
And I don't think it's fair to the township's residents that you said you didn't want to take compensation when you ran. And now you are. And then, third thing, with fire association, I'm all about being transparent with what comes in to our station. But how many times do we have to really have the conversation that when you donate money to the pancake breakfast, that's part of the fire association, that it's going to the fire association, not to the Lafayette Township Department? How many times do we have to have that conversation?
I don't think you've had the board bring the money for the pancake breakfast up once, and what the public wants to state during.
What I'm saying is, how many times do we have to have that conversation, because last year was discussed, it was that they're not part of our township, that we are not governed by, they're not governed by us.
Correct,
Our governing of them is if we wanna donate to them, we can, if we choose not to, we don't have to. No one in this room is obligated to donate to them.
Correct, but and I'll let you continue, I just wanna circle back to, it sounds like you're saying that you want us to put restrictions on what residents are able to get up and speak
No,
about?
not necessarily, no.
Okay.
What I'm saying though is, how can you address those concerns?
I don't.
If they're not
Yeah.
your board, if it's not your board.
So the one thing we have to make clear to the residents is the fire association are allowed to do whatever they want with their money. That is their prerogative to do whatever. They've made it very clear that's what they want to do. They've benefited the fire department for a long
Yes.
time. We want them to continue benefiting the fire department because they are people who serve the residents day in and day out. but what they do is not for us to say anything, and it's not a township issue.
Exactly.
So,
That's exactly what I'm saying, is it
But
is
what-
not a township issue.
But what is a township issue is how township facilities and taxpayer resources are used, period.
So using them is a different story than where their money goes.
Correct, which again is why I wanted to ask the clarifying
Yeah, I
question
mean-
is, I think you're conflating
But
the two issues. This board has never brought up any
But-
discussion about how they use their funds. It's simply how the facilities are used and the process by which they should request use of those facilities, just like any other organization, county, statewide, any other entity that wants to use the facilities, just submits an application to use it, just like.
That's fine,
But that's
what I'm-
all this board has done.
But no, not necessarily talking about the board, but is also in the rules, isn't there an on topic? Is it that we have to stay on topic? In the public comment sections, are there rules governing?
How about this, I will make the commitment, we will readdress the rules at the next meeting. Okay?
That would be great.
And I don't wanna take any more, did you have
No,
anything
I don't
else?
have anything else, I mean, I think I've made 3 points, but it's interesting to me that things that are, I feel like when people the fire chief is involved and if it's not supposed to be addressing anyone but the board, then that's what it should be. And as I said before, people shouldn't be worried about coming in here and being told, nobody has a right to tell anyone else. In general, what to do. If we come in here and say, I can dislike any of your opinions and you can dislike mine, but that's where it ends. That's where it ends. The rest of it we do with our voting.
Thank you.
thank you.
Carol Scheinman, 5750 Lance Road. Everybody just blew my mind. Thank you for what you said. I stand behind that 110%. I came in here, I just wanted Shepherd Hook permit for the cemetery for my parents. That's how I know Sherry. I have been dealing with Sherry and Rick for years, that's how I know you, it's not through school. The people that are gonna be sitting here, are they gonna have background checks? That you guys get until 2027, is there gonna be a background check?
It's not a requirement of the RC.
I don't know that we can require, but I will check with the prosecutor's office and find out.
I mean,
know that
honestly,
we
I don't
can,
want
but-
somebody sitting there, with the record or anything,
Well-
especially when everything's all chaotic and it seems like we're split in half here.
They do have to
And
be a
that's
qualified
wrong.
elector, so there are benchmarks, but I'll check on that before the next meeting, for sure.
We're totally divided here and it shouldn't be like this, we should stand as one. And everybody has their opinion and I respect everybody's opinion, but we need to come as one. It's just too much. And as far as printing, it might be a good idea to have Medina County Career Center kids do it and save you guys some money when you print your, newsletters or whatever it is that was spent thousands of dollars on, give the kids a chance too. So, that's about it. That's all I have. We just need to stick together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Dave Burkler, I live on Dallas Road. I just have a couple of questions. And I'm a little confused now. I just wanna address, somebody made a comment in here about doing stuff on Facebook. Is everybody on Facebook? Not everybody's on Facebook. There's a lot of us that aren't. So a lot of us aren't aware of what's going on, other than stuff that, we see in the paper or that we read, so.
Thank you.
Just for what that's worth.
second question I have is the annual budget for the township. Where can I locate that at?
Well, I mean, I guess,
You just call me or email me, and I'll send you a copy
Yeah.
if you like.
Okay,
and we can get, depending on what what documents you want, like, cause there isn't like a budget, like, there's a lot of different things that go into the financial picture of the township, and we try to get as many of them available online, so if there's something specific you wanna
okay,
see.
where do I find this stuff online? Cause I go to the township trustees site, there's nothing on there.
Lafayette Township,
OH.
OH.gov.
OH.gov.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't find any financial stuff on there.
Okay, so you're gonna go up to, I can show you after the meeting,
Okay,
where to
that-
find
that's
it
fine. I
exactly.
don't wanna waste
Okay,
anybody's time. And I wasn't here at the last meeting, so I wanna, just off of what Jeff was saying about these two checks. Was there a resolution passed on those for the expenditure?
for the expenditure, there was a motion, just like we did tonight with the warrants.
So there's a resolution on it?
Correct.
Okay.
We approve the warrants at every meeting, and they're listed out. And the takeaway from the last meeting was a good one. We will make sure that they're available for everybody to pick up. You know, we get them posted online as well, but it's good for people to have that way, like we talked about tonight with the one large check. You know, if anybody has questions when they see it, they can ask.
Okay,
Yep.
I appreciate the information. And I guess the last question or comment that I have, since there seems to be a disparity between what was said during an election and what happened, do you wanna clarify that now in a public meeting?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, was that the last of the questions?
Yeah.
I don't wanna cut you off. Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
So when I took, well, actually, even before I took office, before I ran for office, you know, the discussion, what was always presented as the healthcare plan for the township was either a healthcare plan that was, for all intents and purposes, fully funded by the taxpayer, which I thought and still think is egregious for an elected official to take, or nothing at all. Those were the only two options that were presented as the plan. So one of the first things that I did when I got in office was to work diligently to try to identify ways that the plan could be modified. And part of that was going through 25 years worth of meeting minutes and resolutions to find where the actual authorizing legislation was that actually allowed the township to provide healthcare benefits. It had to go all the way back to 2001. There were plenty of conversations in the minutes about renewals and actions that were taken, but the minutes themselves and any resolutions that were passed were very sparse of any details of what was actually approved in the plan. So when I got back to that resolution last summer, one of the things that was authorized originally, and I wish I'd have brought it with me, so I apologize, but the language that was actually used at the time was the plan was passed at 100% expense to the taxpayer. But in that was also a carve out that anybody that was eligible for coverage through the township could be reimbursed for their own private policy as long as the policy did not exceed the cost of what was available through the township, or $10,500 a year. As we've discussed insurance a lot, you know, the policies that are offered through the township cost the taxpayers far in excess of $10,500 per year. So in identifying that as an alternative that was available, and having the prosecutor's office review what the process was for curing that, one of the things that became available was that elected officials or any employee would be eligible for reimbursement of their private plan. So that check that's being discussed is for 25 months of healthcare premiums that I was eligible to have reimbursed, which did cost the taxpayers $12,500 and some dollars and change for that 25 months. Comparatively speaking, had I been enrolled in the plan through the township, it would have cost residents closer to $40,000 plus anything that I had as far as medical deductibles during that time. Could have potentially cost the township another $20,000 on top of that. So I understand where people are, that it is a deviation potentially from what my position was originally. But it is also a decision that was not one that was available to me when I took that position 2.5 years ago. So I understand the confusion and the questions that are on there, but that's the explanation, so
Thank you.
hopefully that answers your question.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just got one quick comment, Justin.
Okay.
I wanted to comment on,
Can you speak up a little bit, Will?
I wanted to speak a little bit on Linda Collins. She brought up a good point about the fire department and the Fire Department Association. I've lived here over 35 years, and anytime I thought of the fundraisers or the pancake thing, I always thought the donations were going to the fire department. And it's in the Medina Gazette, it's going to the fire department. And you just said, it's not going to the fire department, it's going to the fire association. That is very ambiguous. For 35 years I've lived here, and I've just heard, that's the first time I've heard that it's not going to our local department. So that really needs to be cleared up if you're gonna run an event with some kind of signage or something. But when you post it in the Medina Gazette, that the donations are going to the fire department, and you just said right now, it's going to the fire association, plus a lot of other events that have been run. I have nothing against the fire association, but very, very ambiguous in this township. Very ambiguous. There's a lot of fundraising events that I thought were sponsored going to the fire department, and there's fire department individuals at those events. It's very misleading, very, very misleading. It's gotta be cleared up, cause I'm kinda pissed about that. Not that I'm against them, but it's just that it's very ambiguous.
And I think, to your point, I think that's part of what we're trying to address is, just helping to define that line, not about, because to your point, I don't believe I've ever seen anything from the Firefighters Association that's advertised one of their events, or from the township advertising the events, that doesn't indicate on there that it is for the Firefighters Association. So I don't think that it's intentional that there's, a blur, but I do understand what you're saying, and that's again why we tried to put some of these things in place. As far as what other entities, I don't wanna pick on the Gazette since they're sitting right over there, but, what they write in the paper, or what an entity that's outside of our control says about how an event's run, unfortunately, we can't do anything but help try to clarify that record. The Firefighters Association does a lot to support what the fire department does, but to your point, it does need to be, there does need to be that, line drawn that so people aren't confused by that. Because it don't want it to be something that impacts the support that they get. So, thank you.
And what's your name?
His name?
Name. Stuart.
What's it?
Got it.
She's wondering. No, I'm not giving it to you.
Just two quick questions about the checks.
Yep.
Yours was dated for, what was the dates back, reimbursement for?
For the period cover,
Yes,
the entirety of my term in office, from January of 2024 through January of 2026.
and what was Carrie's? I thought I seen it,
Just for January of 2025 while she was in office, or 2026, sorry.
I thought I seen 25 on the date.
That was, on share, no, cause I mean,
I
I'd
think
Yeah, which-
someone posted it on Facebook and put that on there, that's not correct. Only one payment, and that was
That was one of the
January.
questions I wanted to verify up there.
yeah, she would only be eligible for.
From January, this year, correct. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Keith McCurdy, Dover Highlands Development. I want to discuss real quick the rescinding of the resolution 2024-17. This facility use form, is this a new form that the board has created
Yes,
for township entities to
correct.
be used? Okay, so is this going to be used across the board for all township properties?
Everything other than the town hall. The
Okay.
town hall is governed under a separate policy.
Okay, so I'm not trying to make life difficult for people, but are you going to do this for the baseball fields? For every Cloverleaf team that wants to have a practice, that wants to play, are you gonna make them fill out a form? For anybody who wants to use one of our cemeteries, are you going to make them use this form?
What would somebody be using a cemetery for?
To bury a person?
What-
You gotta hold a funeral, right? Do they have to fill out this form
The
to hold a
form is
funeral?
for events, so if you're holding an event.
If you wanna hold an event at the cemetery,
Then you would have to do
yeah,
it.
if you're doing a burial,
But
No.
generally speaking, no, if it's just, the baseball fields, if it's a burial, then no, you wouldn't have to fill that.
You know, are you going to allow, Cloverleaf Youth Baseball to do a blanket form to cover all the fields for the entire season? Or, cause these are all events that are happening on township property.
right, and they'll do it the same process, if they give us their schedule and tell us when they're gonna be using the facilities, and then we make it
Okay,
available to
and
them.
I just wanna make sure that there's
Yeah.
just not one organization that's not
No,
being
that's
singled out for.
That's the whole point of the policy, is to make sure that everybody gets the same treatment and access, and not preferential treatment to one entity.
So are these forms available for
They're
public
on,
viewing?
they're on, you put them on the website last Monday?
Yeah, I think that
I believe they're on there.
But like the completed forms, the
Yeah,
approved, everything will be.
Oh, yeah, we can make those available, sure.
Yeah, I think. that might be a good
We had
idea.
our first one approved today?
Yeah, I saw that, that's great, thank you.
Yep.
As far as
Well, they haven't-
cemeteries,
they haven't
Oh, yeah.
filled that
we
in.
got reimbursement of, breaking headstones and stuff that.
We can talk about that.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
So before we close, our service director just popped in, he's running out, he did drop me a note. He wanted just to talk to us about a few things, is he okay if we do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Matt, do you wanna do it then?
That's fine. I had a question. Does the board, have they discussed, for the tar and chip this summer? Because the county engineer's office needs to know if we're gonna, do they have to put it in so we can get, in the paper in a timely fashion, so we can, because otherwise the slobs are gonna get filled up with different contractors and we're liable to not get near as good of a deal on it. And in addition to that, if you choose to do the chip seal, we'll need to order stone too.
These are the road bids that we
Sure.
talked about the other week.
So you need authorization from us to put those out for bid?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the roads that the county engineer, that Rick had given them a list last fall, to put a bid together, or quote together, engineer's estimate, I guess you would call it. As far as all the roads that were gonna be chip sealed, the county needs to know yes or no, or if you're only gonna do part of them, all of them. And my recommendation, I thought you had a good list of roads that need to be done, they certainly do. And my fear is if we don't do them, the roads are gonna continue to erode and cost more later on to try to play catch up. When it comes to the topic of chip seal, we do have to do more coats of it compared to doing asphalt, but there again, that's why it's so much cheaper than asphalt too. So, I think we're getting 6, 7, 8 years out of a road that's been chip sealed, from what Ben was saying, which is, we're doing very well. Back as where I come from, at the last place, we're getting 3 years.
Yeah, we're at 7 years now.
So again, you're asking us for authorization to put those out for bid?
Correct, yeah, because the county needed to know from both of you if you were on board with that, so they can proceed, and then I can order stone for that, because the stone was gonna be in addition to.
They were the
What's
two
your
costs.
total? Yeah, do you have the total?
It was, estimated cost from memory was 400,000, for the roads,
Okay.
the bids, and the stone was,
It was like 725 ton,
Yeah.
and whatever the stone, we had the price, Willowdale Farms was the cheapest on the stone, it was, I didn't bring the price with me, it was in the $30-some an hour
you did put it in the
per
meeting
ton.
last time.
It's for numbers.
Yeah, that's, we need the numbers for it, and that's why I said to Sherry about it, that we need to know. We got the budget coming up. Matt, what was the date they said that they needed to know by, do you remember?
Well, when I spoke with Angie from the engineer's office, said if we was to make a decision, you know, here at this next meeting, this was as of 2 weeks ago after our last meeting, she's like, well, you need
We
to.
missed that cut-off point then for them to put the bids out to us to get this done for this year. That's what Angie was saying to us.
Right, but I guess where the sticking point is
The price point.
what are we approving
So it would be,
monetarily?
so monetarily, I think when Angie gave us all the numbers when we met, I think roughly speaking, it was gonna be 450,000 for the
The stone,
stones.
if I remember right, the stone was gonna be $35 a ton, was gonna order 725 a
Yeah.
ton, and then plus whatever the chip seal and repair was gonna be. I don't know if Ben's got that or not.
I think that was cause the, engineers department, I sent it to you, didn't I, for it? So the engineers department said that generally speaking, just the main roads were the 400,000, with the, is it 6 roads on their map, was it 6?
6 or 7 roads.
Yeah, that are on there, and then just those stone was an additional cost that the township would have to pay. On top of that, the bid would come in. We won't know a final figure until the bids come in, but she gave an estimate of what they have been historically and what they projected for this year, and that's why that 400,000 was there for the projected cost for this year. And then Matt gave the numbers for the stones last meeting, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it was.
What
Sure.
fund are you guys doing this out of? I mean,
Well, that's what I guess what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
is
I mean, you have,
I don't understand why we would be committing to doing a project that we don't know what it's going to cost.
Because when Angie gave us the figures, when I sent it to you, that list, it had those figures in it, we have it in there.
But we're talking about putting it out to bid, correct?
Yeah.
Which means we don't know what it's gonna cost.
Historically though, when I talked to Andrew about this, no one, when I went over the previous bids for the last 5-6 years, you don't know what the
you don't
final
know until the bid
cost.
comes in.
Yeah, you won't know until that bid comes
So it's just
in.
like an estimate if you had an engineer
Yeah.
do a study. So they're coming back with an estimate of 230, they go out to bid.
And then they pick the
Comes
lowest
in,
one.
usually comes in a little bit lower, and so, I mean, I understand the, the concept of, going out for bid, but, I mean, the money's there, we haven't gotten hardly anything from the county yet this year. But, I mean, you have roads, you have road and bridge, you got gas, you got motor vehicle, you got permissive, so I mean, you can pull from all of those really on the project, because they're not really brought in and allocated for anything. Gas and license plate taxes are all for roads. So you can pull from all of those, and, I mean, so standing today, you do have it. So I mean, I would want to, if it's a matter of not getting it done, I would just get it done.
So do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion then to, Matt to take to Angie then to put the bids out then for.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye.
So Matt, can you get in touch with Angie then and tell her to get the bids in place, please? Thank you.
Anything else on
No,
this list?
that's it.
Okay. Did you have any comments to close the meeting?
No.
I do want to address one thing. Because it was brought up, and I think, I understand the thought process behind it. The email that accompanied the resignation letter from Mr. Demonsky was, after watching certain events unfold and enduring unacceptable personal insults to my character, I'm submitting my resignation from the Lafayette Board of Trustees effective immediately. See attached, which was the letter we read earlier. I'm requesting a meeting with you, he's writing to me, on Monday, March 2nd at 9 a.m. at the admin building so I can turn in my laptop and keys. I'm also requesting that there be documentation of this transaction made available for all parties to sign. I would also like to request that you advise our fiscal officer not to issue me any checks for salary for the month of February. At this meeting, I will also be discussing with you paying back the salary I received for January 2026. And I understand the resident concerns. And I certainly am not going to go against Mr. Demonsky's wishes. I do think that, it's probably more than is warranted. I know people are making a big issue out of attendance. And I can understand the frustration and the concern with the timing of everything. But I do think that there's been a lot of conversation that is been presented in a manner of fact that is is lacking a lot of context. We've discussed at length, that none of us make a full-time commitment, even though I think it's probably a bigger commitment than anybody realizes before they get involved, or they probably wouldn't. But I don't think there's any precedent for any elected official anywhere in township government that they've made their calendar available outside of meetings. I've been a part of the Board of Trustees for Lafayette Township for a little over 2 years now. I've been a part of boards that made the decision to manage meeting schedules and township business around their travel schedules, which, again, there's an argument for that, but, you know, trustees have never, and I don't think are obligated in any way, shape, or form to publish when they are or are not in the township, in the state, or even in the country. So I think that the gesture that Mr. Demonski's making to return his salary is fine, but I do think that you know, given the amount of effort that he put in to help the transition process both before being elected, I mean, the outgoing board and the incoming board met, I wanna say 14 times between December 1st and January 31st. So yeah, I mean, I don't want us to create an environment for anybody, myself, the current elected officials, or anybody that's coming in to create an environment where they think that they have to, you know, justify every time they do anything other than sit here, where you're gonna really discourage a lot of people from serving in this capacity. So, I will leave it with that. Do you have anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'd like to say, I've come to a few meetings, and I've not been able to express any kind of talk or anything, and I appreciate that from the board. I feel like I was here, and I thank you for that. So and I hope it continues.
It will.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion and a second.
Yep.
All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned.
Sir.
She's